Hi. Today we are going to talk about remote AVR, standing for Augmented Virtual Reality, and the ability for this solution to safely and securely enable knowledge transfer for schools, governments, and enterprises. So, as you all know, augmented reality is the ability to superimpose information in real life using a phone, tablet, or glasses. And virtual reality is the ability to immerse yourself in this environment using headsets or normal phone. And we called it AVR, standing for Augmented Virtual Reality. And today I'm going to present a solution that can help schools, enterprises and governments to enable transfer of knowledge remotely using this technology. Now let's look at the problem first. We've all experienced the pandemic shutdown and the drastically restricted activities around the globe. We normally live in a society where we can have close proximity to people, but that has all changed recently. Here in the United States recently we have restrictions avoiding groups of 10 or more, and schools have closed. And due to this pandemic, and at the same time, students are restricted to be at home with no ability to study. We also have many workers that can work at location, at their workplaces, and they are not necessarily productive and cannot communicate efficiently. And this has all a devastating effect, not only social activities, but on our global economy. And this caused a lot of concern. And to solve this, for example, international universities, starting with China, that was first affected by the virus, have moved their classes online, and they follow restriction from ministry. And that's happening also around the world. Now that in itself, you think could be a good solution, but here's the problem with online. Students tune out after approximately 6 minutes of online video. And that is pretty drastic. And also another problem is once you are online, it's not as easy to assess. And it's not as easy to conduct a natural, immersive, interactive experience that you typically can have in a lab environment or in a classroom. So that's where we see a solution with a remote AVR, knowledge transfer. And during this presentation, I'll share with you how this works practically for work spaces, but also how this works at home or in locations that are remotely from the school. And for you that haven't experienced it, this short video cut shows, for example, how do you explore the solar system using augmented virtual reality from a normal phone in the comfort of your home. And what we can do in this environment is enable learning, enable training for workers, but also enable performance for workers remotely. And I'll demonstrate with a few videos how that works. So let's start with learning. The ability of creating learning experience in augmented virtual reality historically has been restricted to programmers in very sophisticated environment. What we've done is we turned that around and use what people have already. 4 billion smartphones, smart devices, tablets can be used for virtual reality using simple Google Cardboard or other type of simplistic glasses. Or you can just use them as a mobile device. And in this immersive environment, you can experience, for example, engine, anatomy, chemistry, whatever. We have built a huge library that currently contains more than 1 million 3D assets. So it's not only engines and frogs, but it ranges for more or less all aspects of learning that you can think of. And all these assets can be experienced in multimodal environments. I showed you different type. But also you can enhance and create full lessons, as you can see, with a very easy user interface that people can learn in within an hour or less. And this can then be published not only on a phone, but you can publish this in, for example, headsets, virtual reality headsets, AR glasses. And in this environment, you can take this to a next level, which is training. So a lot of workers, for example, today, if you work in a car company and the car company has been closed temporarily for the pandemic, you have to be at home, but it's not very easy to do something productive. So using virtual trainer, you can train, for example, for the next production of cars or chemistry environments or whatever type of work you conduct. And you can do this so remotely. You don't have to be in the same physical environment. And this is procedure practice. You can also be automatically assessed for a procedure. The system does it. Every step you take, every move you make, the system is actually assessing you. And much more advanced than it will happen in a paper environment. And you can also receive a certification. So whether you are proficient in this new performance. So this gives companies a fantastic opportunity to upskill their workers during this 2-3 months downtime without being physically at the factory or the location where this is normally conducted. And then to look at the last portion here, we go to performing. So the idea here is that you can be in a different location, you can use your phone, or you can use AR glasses. You can have contact with someone that is an expert, and you can get step-by-step instruction, both for training on a procedure, but also for executing a procedure using augmented reality. So this is a remote ability to provide, to execute work without coming in contact with another person, so being utilizing a very safe distance. And then that's exactly what we're focused. With our solution, with the Augmented Virtual Reality Collaborative Platform, we can have large groups to gather, interact, without any risk for physical exposure. So let me show you this quick video and to see how it works. So this person has uploaded an engine, and you can see in the background here that there are 2 other people in the same session on the phone, and they can talk with each other, they can interact, and it's extremely simple. It's just on your phone, join session, and you can also put the engine on the table and you can see the other person that is in a different location interacting in augmented reality at the same time. So you can show someone how to do it, you can train separate step-by-step environment. You can also overlay, let's say, going back to my example with the car industry. So let's say that you want to train on the new production of Lamborghini, but you don't obviously have the Lamborghini physically. You can have a model of it and a digital twin, and you can interact with this and be demonstrated step-by-step procedures regarding to the engine, to assembly procedure, whatever. So there's a link between the physical environment and the digital environment remotely. So in short, by using this technology versus just online videos, you can overcome the attention span challenge because you get this level of interaction that you just seen in my examples. And that's what we're able to do with the AVR platform. So it's designed to make workers and students more actively engaged in knowledge transfer throughout the entire knowledge transfer process. And at the same time, we are keeping them safe and secure during these challenging times. So as you'll see in examples I'll provide, many schools, governments, and academic institutions around the globe are already using this technology. And EON enables them not only to learn, train, but also perform remotely in this augmented reality. So this is a way, rather than to be passive, to be proactively engaged and take steps in order to address these severe issues. So we are, of course, very excited about the opportunity to have large groups that can gather, interact virtually without any risk for physical exposure. And that's what you can do. You can do that on your desktop, you can do that on your tablet, and you can do that with your headset, or you can do that with your phone. Another exciting opportunity is to enable the classroom experience to be replicated remotely and cost effectively with AVR. So if you learn biology, as you can see in the example, you can interact with the heart, you can actually have contact with your teacher. In fact, you can enhance the experience far beyond what you normally have in the classroom. And this provides you a solution that it's easy to use, but it's also extremely cost effective because most people have some type of mobile phone or tablet in their home already, so they don't have to have heavy investments in new infrastructure. And the solution is cloud-based also. So in short, you can have labs. We have thousands of different labs for chemistry, biology, and many other aspects in augmented virtual reality. You can have virtual classrooms. You can have product training sessions and assessment, really irrespective of location. And especially assessment is interesting because you'll have the same rigor as in-person experience. And I would say in many cases you go beyond assessment in person because you can monitor many people, the system, and because as they interact in this synthetic environment. And to help all this, over the last 20 years we developed and have access to more than 1 million 3D assets, which is the world's largest library for assets. And you can also download your own model. And those are building blocks for lessons. And of course, we have thousands and thousands of lessons and applications. So now at this point, you wonder, how can I use this if I'm a school or a company? So I'll share with you some remote use cases. So the first one is what I call the enhanced learning scenarios. That is that a student is at home, you will see him in this picture, and in this case they learn about geology and the earth science, and they are in the comfort of their home. The teacher has created the lessons perhaps in the classroom, and the student sees and interacts. It's not only seeing a passive experience, but interacts in this environment in real time. And by doing so, by having this enhanced, immersive, interactive experience, it's very natural that the student displays high level of motivation, high level of engagement, which actually converts to more effective learning. So in short, students learn faster, retain information longer, and can eventually make better decisions. Another use case is the collaborative online classroom. So in this example, the teachers inviting the student, or the students in this case, to join a diesel engine lesson. He is in another location and they are out somewhere in the garden and they connect. And then the teacher, in this case, is using glasses while the students just have a standard mobile phone. But they can immersively interact with regards to the engine that they see floating here in the air. So in this context, there are many interactive features such as time quizzes, animation, live exchange, or recorded voiceovers, and also ability to do step-by-step procedures. An interesting and intriguing aspect of the remote AVR solution is the self-directed learning. So in this case, we see a student. In this example, the student here doesn't have a phone. She has a headset, but it could be easily a phone. And she's creating her own lessons about the heart. No coding, no programming knowledge is required. It's very easy. It takes 14 minutes or so to develop the lesson on average. And they can upload it, they can share it with other students. So it can be a little bit like homework. And I must say, over the last 3 months, I created more than 1,200 lessons myself. And it's amazing how much I learned on many topics, from arthroscopy to mechanical engineering, by creating the lessons. And by doing so, the student becomes more invested. They learn by doing it. And it also prepares them for this virtual learning environment that is coming around the globe. And it's obviously more effective than the traditional way. Last but not least, assessment. My background being simulators, I've been working with assessment for many years, and I don't think anyone here would dispute the fact that learning how to do an emergency landing in a simulator is far more effective than watching a video about it or a movie or do a paper-based test. So in a simulator, we measure what the pilot does every second, what he looks at, which button he pushes. And the same capability is enabled by our solution, our AVR remote solution. So this is something that is very powerful, and the teacher receives through the cloud information of how long the session took, the level of completion, and also the skills level that's captured automatically. So let's move over to industry. Here you see a picture of myself and the representative from Denso. Denso is one of our clients, and they started piloting Creator a couple of years ago, and their goal is to have training for technicians, because they are in 200 different locations, 170,000 technicians, and to train them using virtual augmented reality platform regardless of location. And of course now, given the pandemic, this has become much higher up in their agenda. Many workers cannot even go to work, so by using the platform they can train them in the new products so they can maintain, repair and operate them, again regarding of location. So this example shows when you can train them by a physical machine, but the same training can be done using a tablet or a phone without having to be in the factory, but can be even at home. So to do all this we need a platform. So I will briefly describe the AVR platform. But before doing that, let me address how do we normally implement this, and what are the biggest challenges in implementing this historically. So historically, a lot of people have tried VR and AR, but 82% of, for example, academic institutions selected not to pursue this beyond a pilot. And why was that? What was the reason for that? So 3 key reasons: lack of good, relevant content, lack of easy way to create the content, and lack of good use cases that proves the value and return on investment. So those 3 problems is what the AVR platform was designed since 2016 to address. And of course now also the remote abilities that are very much in need in current times.
Welcome again to the AVR platform.
So
today we're going to take
there's a quick video here that I will not go through because we can see the platform ourselves, but of how you can create a lesson, how you can bring in assets, how you can import your assets, how you can experience a lesson, how you can mix various type of data, how you can use 360 environments instead of just 3D environments that you capture that are much faster to produce. And so we will see that in a second. But before going there, I would also like to highlight that over the last 21 years, together with partners, we also developed what we call the Vault. The Vault is a vast catalog of augmented virtual reality application that covers a number of different areas, and those are quite advanced, complete, address specific needs, while the traditional platform is enable you to develop, run, manage, access, store, host, and distribute augmented virtual reality in a what we call easy way. And this acronym stands for effortless, affordable, self-service, meaning that you do it yourself, interconnected, meaning that you can do whatever you create in virtual reality can be used in augmented reality or mobile, and with the access of today more than 1 million 3D assets. And now I'm logging in to the platform, so we are live. And I'll take you first to the Vault. And you can see here that we cover a number of different areas from AR application, VR application, shared applications, but also solutions within education. So we can, let's say, vocational training here. If I click on that. A range of application within that sector for vocational training. So I'll give you one example here, which is a laboratory. And this laboratory is virtual, meaning that you can see things in different environments, or a virtual campus. So things that everything from MRI devices to CNC machines to offshore platforms to windmills, and many other things are contained in this specific application. And we have a price, so you can acquire this application one-off, or we have what we call packages, where we co-invest for larger volumes. So if you are into the industry sector, there's areas like aerospace, manufacturing, marketing, training. Within government, we work with security and defense, we work with emergency situation like the ones we have today, or tsunamis. So you can also go and select this by AR or VR or shared solution. And then as you see an application, then you can log in and you can add them to your basket here and can start immediately without any delay to implement this into your school or workplace. Then you can also go to the platform. So now I'm entering the platform. The platform has a number of applications in 3D and 360. You can also have your workspace. This is applications that I've done myself. I mentioned 1,200. So this is, for example, I'll take one, nuclear power plant accidents. Let's edit that lesson. And it literally takes for me, on average, about 14 minutes to create the lesson. It's very, very simple. In essence, you import the assets from the library, and I'll show you the library later in a second, of assets. And then once you have, in this case, I imported a nuclear power plant, you can inject the interaction and create the lesson. So first you can export in 3D, you can see it, break it apart, you can look at annotations of each component here, for example, and you can break those components in parts. You can make it move, meaning animations, or you can pick and choose, meaning I can grab one part separately. I can also, this side menu here, add in contextual information. So now I can add an introduction, such as a YouTube video related to this, or I can just paste the URL here for the YouTube video, and I can also add various type of memos, building, locating, identifying quizzes. So it's very easy. You just tap and add a memo. You can add content to memos. You can delete a memo. You can build, for example, a puzzle. You can time things, for example, a test, how long the student has to do it. You can record interactions. So this is a record button, both voice, but also, for example, how do you replace the rods? And then eventually you end up with a lesson. This is the lesson I created with a lot of different components. And here I also created an animation. So let me go to that. So you can hear my voiceover there, and you can see that I'm interacting in real time with the device. And this is not a video. I can actually look at it from different angles. So that's a very simple example of how you create lesson. Now, how did I start? Where did I get this nuclear power plant from? So let's look at create the lessons. The first thing you can do is a 3D lesson or 360 lessons. In this case, I created a 3D lesson. You can import data. In this case, you can import it from many different formats. Most of us don't know or don't have 3D data to import. So in this case, it's we browse. And then here you have purchased assets and free assets. So those are different type of assets. So here there's a bunch of free assets you can select from. Or let's say I'm looking for nuclear power plant. Yeah. So there are purchase assets and free assets, and you can also get different types. So here you can see that there's a bunch of assets. You can have the nuclear power plant, the Fukushima reactor, and so this reactor then I can import and create the interaction that I just demonstrated. Okay, so I demonstrated the platform, I demonstrated the vault, and this is what we call the end-to-end solution. So platform is used because of ease of use, the vault is used because there's already existing application, but any user can also add to the vault and the platform what we call the marketplace. That's partner developed application, and what's nice about this that you can monetize that. So whatever, you can set the price for it, and then you receive 70% of that. Eon obviously will sell it to our network. So we talked about the ability to create, learn and train using the platform. That's very easy to use. You saw the interface on the computer. This interface is on a tablet, so you can create also in that environment. You can send it to one user, a private group, or publish to a public audience. But you can also do full immersive lessons. In this case, I'm immersing in a helicopter environment. You can expand, annotate, host group lessons and training sessions. And you can also do virtual field trips, which is something very useful, especially now in these pandemic times. Key for our philosophy is to be agnostic, to support all kinds of things. So from affordable smartphones to high-end consumer industrial head-mounted display to screens, large screens, projected environments. Another idea here is to have a very simple approach. So browse the library, I kind of show that. Once you do that, import the objects from a library or from your existing. Create the interaction, I showed how we do that. Experience the lesson in a comfort of your home, and then track and assess with a quite nimble assessment engine how well the students are doing or your workers are doing. So this has become a global movement. So in general, VR and AR is growing very fast. As of today, it is already, compared with AI, robotics and blockchain, within knowledge transfer, it dominates. But if you look at the next 5 years, it will increase faster. And we've seen an acceleration of usage, especially now in these trying times when schools are closed and workers are at home, to use this type of remote AVR solutions. And we are doing a global rollout in 114 locations. I was lucky enough to complete a physical rollout to more than 19 different countries before this pandemic started. But now we are focusing online. And we have a number of use cases and locations rollout throughout the world. Recently, we have a big launch with the government in India, in Assam province, and their education institutions, as well as local industry. Likewise in Spain, in Switzerland with Lucerne University, in Morocco with Minister of Industry, with the Minister of Education, with the largest universities, also big industry like telcos. In Korea with a publicly traded company, as well as the local governor and local industry. In Malaysia, with their large center and government and education institutions. In China, multiple locations with government and large corporation and universities. In Canada, with the education sector with support of the local government. Even in little Kosovo, newest country in Europe. And of course, Australia, Italy, and United States. Those are just some concrete examples. And now, the idea is that we should make it affordable for everybody. First of all, what we want to do is, if you want to start trying it today, you can just go to our website and try it for free. So you go to Eon Reality. Let me just go there. Okay. And you click here. You can click on Start for free. You provide your first name, your last name, your email, your password. And then you can actually start downloading the AVR platform. And you can enjoy all the lessons there that we provide for free. And you can also create lessons, up to 5 lessons at no cost. So any school, any teacher, any student can start deploying this solution today without any cost. This is something that we have designed especially with the pandemic in mind, to make sure that we can help and contribute from our side. Now, if you want to do a larger deployment, that's also possible. And we have packages that vary in size. So we can enable entire school or smaller school for, a classroom for 50,000. We have packages that go to multiple classrooms, up to 100 students. We can enable whole industry enterprise for packages starting at 99,000. We can enable entire campus. We have packages for that, or an entire company also. So if you're interested in those packages, feel free to contact our team, and we're happy to share those with you. So in conclusion, I think by helping and implementing remote AVR, knowledge transfer does not have to come to a standstill, even in a context that we are now. In fact, we believe that 2020 is the year for AR and VR for education and training to become even more mainstream. I think it's important to try these solutions and to see the benefits that your organization can derive from them. For us, we believe knowledge is a human right, and we want to make it available, affordable, and accessible for everybody on the planet. And we also want to bring people together virtually, so we can stay safe while continuing to learn, train, and perform our daily duties. So with that, I thank you so much. I look forward to interact with you. Feel free to reach out to me. My email is Dan, D-A-N, @Eon Reality, or better still, reach out to our company through our website, www.eonreality.com. Have a good day, stay safe, and looking forward to engage with you. Thank you.